You're listening to the Screaming Pods Network.
Do you remember when eBay was like a new thing? It was kind of like people were too suspicious to really buy anything on there, but it was like kind of fun to browse around.
Oh, it was so fun to browse around. I remember spending tons of time on eBay when it came out.
Yeah. Oh, even in like 40-year-old Virgin, they used to have like the eBay
shipping
stores.
Yeah, it was a real popular thing. I think Amazon may have existed, but they were definitely only selling books.
Oh, I forgot Amazon only used to sell books.
Yeah.
That's crazy. No, eBay was definitely like the G-rated version of the black market. You can find anything on there. I actually bought a car off of eBay once.
I bought guitars off eBay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and it's a little safer than Craigslist. And I love the whole idea of bidding on an object, but it just stresses me out coming down to the wire. Like, did I get it? Why I have to be glued to my computer now?
I don't think I've ever bid on anything, but I've always just bought it now. You know?
See, I don't even remember that feature existing.
Oh,
I don't use eBay.
No. I mean, I was a hardcore user. I guess my sister and I, like, that was one of the websites we always just checked out. You know, it's kind of like how you go to Amazon today. You just like,
my wish list is
I'm
so
going
long.
shopping, baby. Yeah. No, yeah, I definitely remember that. And eBay today is still very popular for like selling just about anything. Some people use it like you would use an Amazon. You can just buy new products. They don't have to be used.
Are you kidding me?
It's weird, yeah.
I should check that out. I don't know. What's the weirdest thing you've ever seen for sale on eBay? I've seen some pretty like gross, like previously worn clothing items and like accessories.
Yeah, I can't recall. I really haven't been on there in a long time. It has probably been 20 years.
Well, for those of you joining us for the first time, welcome. You are at the fire. My name is Jill.
And my name is Ben. And
we're not talking Craigslist today, even though I'm sure we could find a plethora of stories from Craigslist experiences.
This episode, we're sharing urban legends in the form of creepypasta.
But not just any creepypasta. We have two crazy stories about haunted items for sale, online and in storefronts.
Yes. And not only that, these are some of the oldest creepypastas ever to have been written. If you're unfamiliar with the term creepypasta,
it's not just spooky spaghetti.
Well, I mean, it is, the term originated, I think I read somewhere that it was originally copy pasta or copy paste is, where it came from. You know how you copy and paste on a computer. You all know. You're hip, tech-savvy people.
Control V, Control C.
Well, other way around. Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah, it originated on, like, message boards, like Reddit and 4chan, where people would try and, I guess, creep each other out. And so what you would do, it would just be these same stories that you would copy and paste from different forums and, add on to them or whatever, adapt them to, like, the situation or the thread you're writing in.
Slender Man is one of my favorite creepypastas, but another really infamous character that developed in the creepypasta world is Jeff the Killer.
The Rake.
Yeah.
You've got, I mean, some of these have even been made into short films and like feature-length films. Shit, they made a Slender Man movie, maybe a couple of them.
There was a murder.
Yeah,
there was a Slender Man murder.
I mean, it's crazy, and then there's a whole. Slender Man is now like a whole genre of creepypasta. It's kind of wild, but like philosophically, creepypasta is just sort of like urban legends in digital form, because an urban legend is something you just wrote to somebody, you know?
Right. And it's really cool the way that it's documented on the internet. You can kind of see the story morph and develop and turn into this whole big internet nightmare.
It really does take on a life of its own.
The first one makes me want to go shopping on eBay right now.
The first one is from, yes, those early days of eBay. It dates back to the year 2000. Year 2000. Anybody who watches Conan O'Brien will get that.
The first story is brought to you by Rowanna Gilbert, and it comes from castleofspirits.com.
Yeah, I don't know if this website is around anymore. I had to access it through web.archive.org. It's a website that allows you to see, they take snapshots of the internet at different points in time. So you're able to, because websites go down over time. So you're able to go back to, I forget, I think I had to go back to 2007 or something to get this one.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool. You'll hear all about the creepy object that's for sale in this eBay listing, but they're actual photographs of it, and they're quite compelling.
Yeah, this painting, you kind of need to see it. They give a brief description of it, but it's sort of vague in like the creepypasta itself. So it's a picture of like this little boy and a little girl standing in front of this, looks like a door or a window. Or a metal grate or something, and just behind them, it's black. You can't see what's behind this grate or this window, but you can just see these hands pressed up against the glass. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah, and there's a little like girl doll thing propped up against the side.
Oh right, yeah, she does look like a doll. It's like she has that joint in her arm, and her face doesn't look right. Well, anyway, here's the haunted eBay painting. In February of the year 2000, the sudden appearance of a rather strange item listed under Haunted Painting made its debut on eBay.com. Of course, a title like this is going to attract attention, and it's still discussed to this day whether the painting is genuinely haunted or not. Even stranger is the reactions that the general public had when viewing photos of the painting. The artist is Bill Stoneham. The painting's title is Hands Resist Him. On his website, Bill tells of how he painted Hands Resist Him in 1972. The boy in the picture being himself, the hands being other lives, the windows or door behind them being a thin veil between waking and dreaming, with the small doll-like girl being the guide through. Bill does not know how his painting ended up abandoned, as described by the eBay seller, but he does know the owner of the gallery where the painting was sold, and a Los Angeles Times critic, who reviewed the show, were both dead within 1 year of the painting being shown. What follows is the original text from eBay that accompanied the painting. When we received this painting, we thought it was really good art. A quote-unquote picker had found it abandoned behind an old brewery. At the time, we wondered a little why a seemingly perfectly fine painting would be discarded like that. Today, we don't. One morning, our 4.5-year-old daughter claimed that the children in the picture were fighting and coming into the room during the night. Now, I don't believe in UFOs or Elvis being alive, but my husband was alarmed. To my amusement, he set up a motion-triggered camera aimed right at the painting. After 3 nights, there were finally pictures. The last 2 pictures shown are from that stakeout. After seeing the boy seemingly exiting the painting, we decided it had to go. Please judge for yourself. Before you do, please read the following warning and disclaimer. Warning. Do not bid on this painting if you are susceptible to stress-related disease, faint of heart, or are unfamiliar with supernatural events. By bidding on this painting, you agree to release the owners of all liability in relation to the sale or any events happening after the sale that might be contributed to this painting. This painting may or may not possess supernatural powers that could impact or change your life. However, by bidding, you agree to exclusively bid on the value of the artwork, with disregard to the last 2 photos featured in this auction, and hold the owners harmless in regard to them and their impact, expressed or implied. Now that we have that out of the way, one question to you eBayers. We want our house to be blessed after the painting is gone. Does anybody know who is qualified to do that? The size of the painting is 24 by 36 inches, so it is rather large. As I've had several questions, here are the following answers. There was no odor left behind in the room. There were no voices, or the smell of gunpowder, no footprints or strange fluids on the wall. To deter questions in this direction, there are no ghosts in this world, no supernatural powers. This is just a painting, and most of these things have an explanation. In this case, probably a fluke light effect. I encourage you to bid on the artwork and consider the last 2 photographs as pure entertainment. And please do not take them into consideration when bidding. As we think it is a good idea to bless any house, we still welcome input into that procedure. The auction is nearing the end. I want to thank the more than 13,000 people that took the time to look at this image on eBay. I appreciate the more than 30 suggestions that I received regarding blessing the house, exercising, and cleansing. 7 emails reported strange or irregular events taking place when viewing this image. And I will relay 2 suggestions made by the senders. First, not to use this image as the background on the screen. And second, not to display this image around children. Last not least, thanks for appreciating the art as well. The reactions to viewing the painting are varied and strange. People report of feeling ill and passing out, having strange visitors in the night, children crying in horror when seeing the pictures, and some people are even too afraid to look. The strange light on the painting as seen in the pictures displayed on eBay.com could have been achieved by various camera tricks or just by shining a red light on the painting. Very simply done. No, the painting is not genuinely haunted. Hands Resist Him eventually sold for $1,025. The first bid was $199. It had a total of 30 bids. I would imagine, with the popularity of this painting, that it would be worth a lot more now. Not merely for its value as a painting, but for its value as the now famous haunted eBay painting.
So I don't know if I would have bid on that painting.
No, I mean, we'll post the pictures or links to the pictures on the website. You really have to look at them.
It's a creepy ass painting. I personally, haunted or not, I wouldn't want that thing hanging in my house. It's kind of terrifying, especially if you're somebody who's afraid of dolls. I used to think I had haunted objects in my possession. I think, personally, spirits can attach to objects. But to have something look like it came right out of the pits of hell.
Right. And like having, I don't know, the whole painting coming to life thing, it does seem a little silly.
What was that? What was that big franchise movie, Insidious, or
was it Insidious?
The Conjuring? Remember the nun scene in The Conjuring 2? That painting came to life.
Oh man. Let us not forget The Conjuring 2.
Yeah, don't. It's a staple in our horror movie genre. Not really. But oftentimes, you know, you can find these one-of-a-kind hidden little gems at the deepest, darkest depths of the internet. But you know where you can find some really creepy things? Old antique stores. Have you ever found anything crazy in an antique store?
Old antique stores. No, I don't. Like, I've been in a few, but I don't think I've ever really bought anything from one.
I love finding little pieces of like little decorations, nothing too big or obscene. Just, I have a cute little mirror, but then I'm always thinking, how did this mirror get here? Who owned this mirror? Did they die in the presence of this mirror? Are they attached to this mirror? Is this blood or is this rust on this mirror?
Yeah. Which relative of the deceased brought this here?
Exactly. Why does it smell like mold and must? So our second creepypasta is all about a scary item found in an old antique store. It's brought to us by Micah416.
And if you are a connoisseur of creepypasta, you may recognize it by its title. Here's the kaleidoscope.
So I was honeymooning in Maine, and my husband and I stopped in this picturesque town called Booth Bay. And it was a really dreary, rainy day. We had planned to have a picnic, and that was obviously out of the question. So we found shelter in an old, dilapidated little antique store near the harbor. And while my husband inspected some of the large chests and side tables near the door, I eagerly examined the antique tools and seafaring equipment inside the glass sales counter at the back. Being a collector of optics and mariner's instruments, I hoped to find a sextant or perhaps an old leather-bound telescope. I found a particularly interesting piece. It really caught my eye. It appeared to be a heavy brass flashlight, and it was bearing a worn brown patina, but it was remarkably modern in design. I asked the shopkeeper, but he could only tell me it was found in the same old sailor's chest as several of the compasses that he had on display. He inquired as to whether I would like to purchase it for $5, and then he even offered to give it to me for free. He said it's just worthless to him and nobody really wants it. And then I remarked about the price, and he sighed wearily. So he reached into the cabinet and retrieved it for me. Here, see for yourself. The craftsmanship was wonderful, durable, and apparently handmade, probably somewhere in Europe. It had worn lettering that indicated that it might be German or maybe Austrian in origin, and as I twisted the bulb housing, a weak red beam swept out. Poking it into a dark corner of the shop, I was greeted with fantastic monotone swirls, moving and entwining with each other, like a pit of eels. I stared further into the unusual projector kaleidoscope, and my mind invented some of these ghoulish faces, gnarled tendrils. So I shut the device off and I turned excitedly to the shopkeeper. Fantastic, I thought. I have 2 Victorian kaleidoscopes, but none quite like this. You don't get it, do you? Nobody gets it. They all come back to return it after a while. The shopkeeper leaned on the counter. I could see that he was breathing heavily and perspiring. They all think it's some sort of trick, till they start seeing it when the light's off. That ain't no projection. That damned thing, that light, it ain't making up those creatures. It's just letting your eyes see what's already there.
So that's not a kaleidoscope at all. It's like a looking glass or something. I don't know.
No. Well, it's a kaleidoscope, but it's like an outward kaleidoscope. So instead of looking through it, you have the projection on like a wall or something. It's how they used to have. I don't know.
Does that exist?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. How about that?
It's an old school toy.
I guess so.
I mean, I personally do think that there's a lot of activity that we can't really see, whether it's, positive or negative forces. I don't know if it's, ghosts. I don't know if... I don't know. I think there are different levels where things coexist.
Well, that made me think more of like other dimensions
Right.
and things like that. Like if we if you were able to like put on a pair of sunglasses or like look through
Right.
fucking this thing,
Right.
and see everything that is there, but just off by like, one electron or something.
Right. It almost it acts as a window. You can see into it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wonder if something in a different dimension could potentially open that window and reach out and do some damage. I don't know. Like, could an object be the key to opening the door to another dimension?
I think it would have to be. You'd have to have some sort of mechanism.
What was it in Dude, Where's My Car? The time-space continuum.
Oh, there you go.
Or the transfunctioner. Oh, man.
If only you knew that reference.
I'm getting so excited. I want to go watch that movie now. Continuum transfunctioner.
Yes.
That's what it is. The continuum transfunctioner. And guess what? I don't even have my phone. I didn't have to look that up.
I can attest. Truth.
So whether it's a kaleidoscope or a continuum transfunctioner or a creepy painting you bought on eBay, creepy objects and crazy objects are out there, and they're up for grabs if you're willing to dish out the dough.
Yeah, and that's the glory of the internet. People will state if an object is haunted. If you go to an antique shop, they'll be like, "Nope, that's yours. Get it out of here."
I mean, just take a look on Craigslist. You have everything from a haunted lawnmower to a haunted Fisher-Price toy to a haunted toaster.
to a man dressed as a ghost who will come sleep in your bed with you.
But we don't suggest
Don't do that.
you purchase that.
Don't talk to that one.
Please don't. For the love of God. Just, you know what? Don't take our recommendations. Stay off of Craigslist. No one needs you to go on Craigslist. eBay's still around.
Ain't that the truth?
Well, if you have a crazy story about an object that you've purchased from Craigslist, eBay, or anywhere else, let us know. We'd love to hear about it.
You can contact us at admin@atthefire.com, or you can hit us up on our website,
which happens to be at thefire.com. You can also find us on Twitter @_the_fire. And if you feel like keeping up on my daily life, you can find me on Instagram, Red Hot Jilly Pepper.
Yeah, you won't find me on social media because I just can't even.
He can. And I can attest to that.
So yeah, email us or write to us on our website if you'd like to talk to me.
Yeah, we'd like to thank the authors of the creepypastas that we read today. Thanks for sending some chills down our spines.
Yeah, especially that one from 20 years ago.
So excited to go shopping online tonight.
As always, thank you for joining us. My name is Ben.
And my name is Jill, and we will see you next time.
At the fire.
This episode's music is brought to you by 3 Chain Links, Alex Mason, Lee Rosevear, Tremec and Darius, Soft and Furious, and Tim Kahn. You can find their music and more at freemusicarchive.org and freesound.org.
You're listening to the Screaming Pods Network.